Hello, you lovely person.
Hello yourself.
So if you'd like to introduce yourself, who are you and where can people find you?
Okay, so today and most days I'm Lyndsay Watterson and I'm from Neo Walk and we're on the internet and we sell our gorgeous walking sticks.
So I saw Lyndsay and I was at a conference for work and I was going around doing little videos and I saw Lyndsay's products and I absolutely love them. So what I want to do is for you to tell us where you are at now, what you do, and then we'll go right back to the beginning.
Back to the beginning. Okay, so where we are now, we are what I would call a rapidly growing business, largely because of a lot of the hard work that we do, but also because the lovely people out there are actually networking among themselves and showing each other their gorgeous walking sticks, telling each other how great they feel with them, which is just an absolute gift. So they're actually growing quite rapidly. We sell our walking sticks on the internet. We don't have a physical shop. That might be something in the future, but we're rapidly expanding, taking on staff, all that kind of thing. And it's a very exciting time to be alive.
And it's not just your average walking stick though.
No, there's nothing average about me. I've never made anything average. No, then they're not average. They were never going to be. One of our mottos is we're made to stand out, not to fit in. And that's the attitude that we have towards each of our customers, and it's the attitude we have towards our walking sticks. You want to see them because they're amazing. And just like all our customers, they're all amazing.
And they are. So I was in this conference and I saw quite a lot of your products stacked up. They have lights on, they have bubbles, they're different colours. There was these really nice images, people on their wedding day, really special occasions. And there was just such a buzz around your store. It was the energy and excitement.
Yeah, and I think that's something that's different, that certainly we were hoping for, but we weren't expecting. But we've built up this big community around our customers and around what the walking sticks that we make. And everybody is very keen to share their pictures. They're very keen to share their experience. Some of them are good. Yeah, most of them are good, but some of them aren't so good. And we value all that, so that, they share their opinions. It's a really lovely area on our social media and on the website to share your experience with your Neo Walk stick.
On your Instagram as well, like the way that you have, because that's like your shop window, isn't it? The way that you presented them is so beautiful.
Yeah, we're very lucky that we have good photographs. We have customers who they have good taste and they take good photographs, and we're very lucky also that we have a really good photographer who is my son, who comes and takes photos and videos for us for the website. So
fantastic!
He works for his mother. Yeah,
was he there?
No, he wasn't.
No,
he was working elsewhere.
Tell me about the red dresses.
The red dresses, we were the ladies in red.
Yeah.
When this was the first time that we'd done an exhibition or any kind of sort of get together. So we designed the stand, and when it came to looking at what we were all going to wear, because there was a hardcore of like 4 of us that were going to be on the stand, I just felt it was made sense, not a uniform, but we all kind of looked like we belonged to the same pack. So we all had red dresses on. The two younger girls had shorter dresses on. I went a little bit longer. Everyone will be pleased to know. And the guys in the NEC called us the ladies in red.
It looked great.
And we just became we saw everybody saw the young girls. Nobody came to see them. I have to say
there was a queue.
There was
a queue.
That was the long queue for the toilet though, Jenna. Yeah, we pulled it off really well. It was very
never would have known
proud.
It was your first one.
Very, very proud of how we did. It was worked hard, took a lot of planning, a lot of thought about what we would want to see if we were going and turning up, and the kind of examples and products and all that malarkey. And yeah, we just did what we thought was best. And
so, what feedback do you get from your customers that find you and then start to use your products? Because I know what I think about your products, not a user. I'm not going to buy one of your products, but I would love to recommend these products. And as I said, that a lot of people who follow me are in the health and social care profession. So I was like, I just need more people to know about this. So sorry, the question is the feedback. Sorry, I got carried away there.
You're absolutely fine. I'm just trying to think, because feedback goes back a long way to when I first made my first walking stick, because I made it for myself because I was a walking amputee with a prosthetic leg. So I know the reaction that other people have to these walking sticks, and I know how it made me feel, and that was what I wanted to give to other people if I could.
And how did it make you feel?
Empowered. It made me feel special. It made me feel sexy. It made me feel, and these are all repeated words that we get all the time coming back from customers even now. So we're talking 10 years later, that they feel listened to, that someone has actually listened to the fact that they need a walking stick. It's got to be stable, it's got to be functional, but why the hell shouldn't it look nice as well? So that's what we've done. And the feedback that comes back is, oh my God, I've been so ashamed of using a regular walking stick, or an ugly walking stick, or a wooden one, or a grey one, call them what you like. I've been so ashamed. There's a lot of stigma surrounding using a mobility aid, no matter what your age. But I imagine when you're younger, so you're talking teens into 20s, into 30s, you know, there's a big stigma around it. And people say, haven't left the house for 3 years. Now I've got one of your walking sticks. I went out and I felt proud. I went out and people were talking to me. People were asking me where I got my walking stick. They didn't want to know why I was using it. Whereas previously, there's a bit of a thing involving people with disabilities, where people feel they've got the right to go up to them and say, what happened to you then? You know, what did you do? What's up with you? What's wrong with you? And it happened to me countless times, still does. And I'm not a young person. And people still feel that they've got the right to come up to me at my age and say, oh, what happened to you then? But yeah, people talk to them about their sticks, and they don't care why they're using them. They just go, oh my God, your stick's amazing. And when you have a disability, that's priceless, because someone's actually noticing something else about you. You're not being defined by your disability. It shifts the focus.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was, for me, what I got really, really excited about, because I can see the barriers that we have with communication. And I saw this as, I can now talk about your walking stick. I'm not going to say, you know, what happened to your leg? Why don't you have any legs? Why have you only got one leg? Like, why, you know, I'm now going to talk about this. And I was also thinking as well, because we've got a puppy, like if the puppy had like chewed the end, I could then say, oh, you know, and now we've got dogs, and now we can talk about the dogs.
Exactly.
The colour green and the material and things like that.
Yeah.
And one of the stories that a family member of mine, so this isn't about walking sticks, but it is about the barrier of communication and how important it is that we do find a way. So this family member, there's 3 of them, and one of them had a stroke, and he was unable to talk for a while, and then he would learn how to talk, go through rehab, he would learn how to talk, but my relative really, really struggled to understand. And I think due to embarrassment, he didn't like to say, excuse me, what did you say? I didn't catch that. So he stopped going around to see his friend who'd had a stroke. Not because he didn't want to spend time with him, but because he felt so much embarrassment of having to repeat himself, and because his friend had to put in so much more effort to try and communicate. So what happened was a third friend then would go, and the third friend would paraphrase. So then after that, once they found a way that they could communicate, they were going to, I was going to say conferences then. What do you call them? Music, festivals, concerts. They were going to concerts, which wouldn't have happened if they didn't find a way to communicate. Yeah. So that was one of the reasons why I got so excited, because I can just see how this can inspire so many conversations. Just those, and I'm not even saying like the concert story on the bus.
Completely.
Chit-chat.
It's not an earth-shattering thing, just for someone to say, well, that's nice, isn't it? Yeah. Do you know what? It's just that it breaks down that barrier that people feel is between between them and the person looking at them. And once that barrier's just come down a little bit, that's when the conversation starts, which I suppose is the same type of thing as your friend with the stroke.
Yeah, honestly, I got so excited. I was so excited. And then looking at all your products, looking at the website, and we'll put all the links and everything in the description. So that's where you are now. That's
where we are, making bits of plastic. Does that not make you think? It's just a piece of plastic, but it's just been given a bit of thought. But what a life-changing little bit.
It's the value that you put onto it, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a life-changing piece of plastic. And it's incredible. And it still amazes me today, the effect. And I know because I did it, the difference I felt going out with one of these things was crazy.
So when did you go from making them for yourself to then having a workshop with office dogs?
That started 10 years ago. Made my first walking stick in the kitchen, in the oven. Don't splurt. I moulded it round a wine bottle to get the curved handle.
Okay.
Worked like a charm. Had to empty the wine bottle first of all to start, because it would have spilt. Come on. And I was scared that the hot plastic was going to break the glass. It was just health and safety
precautions.
So made my first one. It was red. It was a bit like this colour. And
have you still got that first one?
Do you know, I don't think I have, because it was a long time ago. Yeah, it was that shaped handle. Went out with it, walked about with it. People were going, oh, like your walking stick. Where did you get that? And of course, I could hand on my heart, so I made it myself. And like some little crafty home business. I just made it myself. But I never said that I had a business doing it. And then after a while, there was quite a few people started asking me, where if I could get one of those, I'd get one. I'd have one of those. And I just thought I'd trip it off the tongue and just see how it felt. And I just said, oh, I've got my own business. And I thought, oh, that actually felt really nice. Not being a business person, not being an entrepreneur at all. And that was where it began. And I literally had some money, not a huge amount of money, that I had to put into buying the stock to make the things to start with. I started off with about 10 colours. With another oven, a bit more specialised oven.
All these wine bottles, like on recycle day, like
queued up after the garlic bread. Don't turn the oven off, kids. Mama's cooking. But no, I got myself a different oven, and still sort of making them the same way that I did back then, making more of them. And now we have a workshop where we make them. We have staff. We have 5 people who actually work, and it's just incredible.
Amazing.
And I get a huge buzz out of that as well, being able to, and the team that I've got are incredible. I mean, I've just been on holiday for a week. They didn't miss me. I don't think they noticed that I'd gone. Nothing stopped. It all carried on. The business just carried on, and that's a first for me, that actually having that. But yeah, they're just great, and they're so focused, and they're so into what we do. They believe in what we do. So it's not just a job. It is more than a bit of plastic. They know that, and they know that every one of these we send out potentially is going to change somebody's life on the end of it. And they're so into it. I'm so proud of them.
I can see why you have such a fantastic team, because it's so easy to get on board with this. And you ship worldwide, is that right? You've got orders coming from all over the world?
Every corner of the globe. Literally every corner of the globe. There's very few countries we haven't touched now.
Amazing.
We're getting into the ones that I can't pronounce. You know the ones. But yeah, the addresses, and you're putting them down and you think that's a spelling mistake. But it's not. It's just from a foreign country.
Amazing.
Yeah, we do. We're very, very lucky. And so they're spreading. It's that networking kind of, it's that organic growth. So one customer was going on holiday to Tasmania. Lyndsay, I need a walking stick. I'm going on holiday to Tasmania. There's your walking stick. 2 weeks later, we're getting orders from Tasmania. And that's organic growth, just because people have talked and said, wow, love your stick. Where did you get that? And
I love it.
That's it in a nutshell, isn't it?
I love it. So that's where you are now.
Growing.
Where were you? Tell right from the start, because you have got quite a story to tell.
I'm colourful.
Yeah.
My CV is very colourful. Yeah, I mean, you can go back for as far as you want, really. You can predate when I lost my leg. I trained to be a hairdresser lots of years ago, and then I became ill. I contracted an MRSA infection in hospital during surgery, funnily enough. So I wasn't even awake to argue with them when they gave me it in my knee. I was having knee surgery. And it was quite catastrophic for me. So that was in 2007, and in 2010 I had my left leg amputated above the knee because it was no longer a team player. I would eventually lose it anyway. So I chose an elective amputation because I couldn't bear the suspense. And that seems really strange because people at the time said, oh, it's such an impossible decision. How can you make it? But actually, the decision had been made for me when I'd been ill and lost the use of my leg. The decision, it was gone then. So it wasn't actually. I mean, it was a big decision, but it allowed me to start making progress again because all I was looking at was a life of slow degeneration to the point where I would lose it anyway, and then I would have to start building myself up again. So off we go. We'll get rid of that. And then when I became strong enough, I had to start thinking about what I would do for work because I was still only in my mid-40s and I would need to earn some money. And I joined an agency called Amputees in Action. Get this. Their motto was, our loss is your gain. And I loved that. And I thought, I found my people here.
Yeah.
So I went and worked with them for a few years doing live action casualty simulation, made up like I'd just been in a bomb explosion or train wreck or airplane crash, you name it. I did every kind of simulation. And my leg would be looked to make it look as though it had just been blown up, and I got to squirt blood in people's faces. And I had the greatest time. It was great. I made people vomit. I made people cry. It was great fun. But then this email came through from them saying the Olympic Committee are looking for 40 people to with any disability to work at height for the opening ceremony for the Paralympics, London 2012. That's all we know. Do you want the gig? Of course I said yes, because
I'll work it out later.
I knew nothing about anything. I was just, I need the money. I'll do anything. Hence the stripping as well. That's another story. And I ran away with the circus and became a circus performer in London for 6 months to train for the Paralympics. And I performed in the opening and closing ceremonies, doing some amazing things. I got to do this fabulous thing with Coldplay in the closing ceremony.
Was that with the motorbike?
That was with the motorbike, yeah, where I sort of flew across the stadium underneath a motorbike. I was on a trapeze.
Yeah.
These things it was my mother who was in the audience. She nearly had a coronary, and it was the best night. It was really great. And then I was fortunate to teach circus after that, travelling to Brazil and teaching and doing other performances all over the place. So very lucky that carried on, but always knew that it wouldn't, because older lady, dodgy joints. It was always the offers were always going to dry up. But in between times I did a bit of acting as well, and I played a one-legged stripper in a movie with Jack Whitehall called Bad Education, the movie. I played Peggy Sue, the one-legged stripper, who was a really rubbish stripper. So as quick as Peggy Sue could take her clothes off, the audience was throwing them back at her. So I didn't actually get to take anything off. And my gorgeous father at the time, who was with us then, told everybody that I was a prostitute. Very proudly. No, she's a prostitute.
Have you got one of those, what is it? Is it IMBD account? IMDb.
You will find me on IMDb. Yeah, I am on there. And I was in Doctors as well, which was the pinnacle of my career, BBC Doctors. But yes, I've done some funny things. And
just to confirm, that came after, these opportunities were after your amputation?
My amputation, all after.
Could you have foreseen any of that?
No. The person that I was, the Lyndsay before the amputation, would never have looked for those opportunities, would never have thought she could achieve them, didn't have the confidence. I would love, I said this the other day to somebody, I would love to just meet her now and see, because I don't think either of us would recognise each other. I really don't think we would. And it sometimes takes something life-changing like that, and it can be anything that just tips you over into we've got to live this life. And I think that did it for me. I've gone on and done some silly things, but I've gone on and I've achieved some what I'm proud to put on my CV.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
my colourful CV. Yeah, and then I always knew that these opportunities would dry up, and that in the future, because I was still making walking sticks all this time. I never gave up making sticks. It was always just like a little hobby business. I always knew that it would be my main focus. And 3 years ago, I made it my absolute main focus, and the eye focused on it, and the social media and the hours, and here we are, and I just love it.
Were you when you were a hairdresser, were you employed or were you self-employed then?
I just finished training.
Oh, okay.
Never got the chance. Never.
I was wondering
if
the business experience had come from that. No.
Never got the chance. Had I carried on my sort of career trajectory, I may well have opened my own salon and learned the business side of things. Because I'm not an entrepreneur. I wasn't born like this. I mean, I'm just learning it as I go along. I really, I've always been crafty. I've always been handy. But I never really thought that would get me to where I am. But it just goes to show you, your dream can become your reality. Your hobby can become all this 24/7 focus of your attention, and you're designing all the time and thinking of ideas, and it's just a fabulous way to live.
And that was another reason why I wanted to invite you onto the podcast, because I just think it's such an inspirational story. Like, I didn't know anything about you. I didn't know about walking sticks, but then the more I looked into what you've done and what you've achieved, so it wasn't just for the walking sticks and the communication side, but also how much you've achieved, and it doesn't appear that you've let things get in your way. I'm not saying there's not been down days, but you've not let things get in your way, and just kind of grabbed opportunities and learned along the way.
Yeah, very early on, I learned that I could do anything. I would just do it a little bit differently. So I learned this is all post amputation. It's crazy how you can suddenly just wake up and start living.
How old were you then when you had
I was 42.
When you had the amputation?
Yeah. So I learned to sit ski. I've ridden horses again, which I never ever thought that I would do again. I used to have horses lots of years ago, so I've ridden horses again. I've been husky dog sledding. I've swimming, diving. I learned to dive. I got my paddy license. I've rode a camel. I've done this. I've so much. Done the
You're
circus.
one of these people who, when you go to a bar and you start having a conversation, it's like, yeah, I've done that. I've done that.
Yeah, you don't want to sit next to me. You really don't.
Oh no, I must have a more exciting story than Lyndsay. I must.
No, but I've just, I've been so lucky that it's double-edged. I've been lucky, but I've been open to it. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of what you attract a lot yourself. So I've been very lucky that these opportunities have come my way, but I did go out looking.
You've
for
also
them.
taken the risk as well.
Yeah, taken the risk. I've definitely made myself more open to trying scarier things. I was just mentioning to you before, we've got this pop-up shops in the Metro Centre in November. Absolutely bricking it over that, because I don't know whether that's going to work. Haven't got a clue. We did the exhibition, didn't have a clue whether that was going to work. It was a big investment of money for us to make. So it's just being open and just hoping that people will keep on supporting you. I mean, we're very lucky that people do.
And when things don't go quite so well, how do you recover from that? How do you get back on it? How do you get back into that positive mentality of moving forwards?
I sulk. I sleep. That's generally how I approach most things, pain included. I sleep a lot. If I'm in pain, I just have to switch off. Just can't. If I'm in a lot of pain, just have to clock off and then hope that my mind is reset when I wake up. Generally speaking, it does. I'm quite lucky with that. And you just remind yourself again that you're very lucky to be where you are, and one little step back doesn't make it. It's just a bad day. It's not a bad life.
Yeah. And I think it's good to know what your process is as well, what you need. It's not me anymore, but when I used to have hangovers, I used to have, and this sounds awful, a glass of Coke, a glass of milk, and an orange juice. And I'd say to Rob, like, babe, I need this. I can't stand up until, yeah.
Did it?
Yeah. But that was my process. That was what I needed. I was fully aware of it.
Was that the order? I'm just imagining the milk curdling.
I know. When I tell people, they're like, yeah, but it was. And now, to be honest, I don't drink that much because I get such bad hangovers that nothing works. But I was aware of my process, and something really shitty happened to me where there was an ex-boyfriend who I actually found in bed with another woman, and we were splitting up. I was actually going around to pick up my stuff, so you could say, well, you could do that, it's not cheating, but it was disrespectful, and he wanted me to find him. Like, that was his whole intention.
Yeah.
And so I turned up to get my stuff, and no effort had been made to hide anything. And I went upstairs, and I'd been kidding myself on because I saw a pair of shoes and I thought, maybe they're his nan's.
Maybe.
And then I saw the coat on the banister. I'm like, I don't think that's his nan's. And then I got upstairs and they were there. And he just said, morning, Jen.
Yeah.
Morning, Jen. And I was like, well, this is a bit awkward, isn't it? So I left because I didn't want him to see how upset I was. He had just got a new car. My only regret is that I didn't kind of ping the wiper blade off or anything.
I was going to say, tell me that you did.
I didn't. That's my only regret. And then I decided, because I was like really, really upset about that, but I decided that I think it was in the March, I was not going to be upset about that in the September. So why would I be upset about it in April, in May, in June? So I gave myself a week of a pity party, and I was pure miserable.
Yeah.
I had whatever I needed, if I needed chocolate or pizza or whatever,
Yeah.
I allowed myself to have all those feelings, not try and like mask them. And then I wasn't upset.
That's part of it though, isn't it? Where you actually you allow yourself to do that, because instead of telling yourself that you shouldn't, but why shouldn't you? You should feel all those feelings, and you've got to work your way through them to get out the other side. And I think that's a shame when people say you shouldn't feel a certain way. Of course you should.
Yeah, they might not feel that.
Quite right.
If it was the same situation, but it doesn't mean that you can't feel that.
You see, anybody else would have squatted on his bonnet and weed in his engine bay. I think I may have.
Honestly, I was so mad, but I just didn't want a reaction because that was what he wanted.
Yeah,
I do wish I just tweaked it a little bit, just a little bit of damage. Nothing
You're
too bad.
Nice.
Well, when because Rob was my first podcast guest, so I said about that. But when we'd split up, kind of going off on a tangent here, but when we'd split up, I was so mad. I was so mad at him. I sent him glitter 18 months after we split up. So he had one of those glitter bombs at work. That's how mad
I like that. I like that. And I bet it took ages to clean up.
And he was so mad. And I wasn't like friends with him on social media or anything at that time. And my friend sent me the screenshot of like, who?
Oh, I love it. A little old gun in his hair and in his mouth. And
I did confess that it was me before we got back together. But yeah, that's how mad I get. I send glitter 18 months later.
That's pretty good. That's a long grudge. 18 months.
Yeah, I didn't want to give the game away, and I just didn't want to do anything impulsively.
Well, no, you couldn't be accused of being impulsive 18 months after.
But yeah, that was the best £20 I think I've spent.
That's really, really good.
Yeah.
I like that.
So yeah, knowing your process, knowing and yeah, like you say, having those feelings, because I think if you were to hold them in, build them up, then you're gonna need an outlet somewhere.
Yeah, completely. It festers if you don't let it out. So yeah, things go wrong. I sulk. I'm not ashamed to say I'm a bit of a sulker, but I'm quiet with it, and I do just tend to bury my head. I've got eye masks that I put on, so underneath my eyes, my teeth are gritted, but to the world, I just look like I'm drifting into beautiful sleep. And you've just got to let yourself do it and get over it, and reset the next day and start again. Yeah, and it's important. It was just a bad day, not a bad life.
Yeah, and recognise that is your experience.
Yep.
It's not your partner's or your friends or your children. So, less of the projection.
Yeah.
This is mine.
Exactly.
What are the biggest lessons? So, you've gone into business, you're wrapping plastic around wine bottles. What has been your biggest learning?
The business side of it. Because I never knew any of it. When I was at school, I'm 55 now, and when I was at school, girls weren't encouraged to go into business. As a family home, I wasn't particularly encouraged to go into it. It was nursing, it was all that kind of thing that my generation were encouraged to go into. Plus, I came from a family of nurses. But no, I was never encouraged to do anything like that. Didn't study it. There wasn't really business classes at school. You could go on to university and study it, but I never did. So that has been a massive learning curve for me, learning all the business side of it. The budgeting, the how to keep a business running without it going well crash. You've got to ride out the ups and downs, and it's all stock management, and now we're into wages because these people come to work and they expect me to pay them, even though they say, we love it here. It doesn't feel like work, and I said, I won't bloody pay you then. But yeah, they expect paying, and it's just been a real learning curve, but I've loved that part of it because that satisfies my brainy bit, whereas I've got the designy side of it to satisfy my designy bit. You know all this stuff. There's a half that does one bit and a half that does the other, isn't there?
Yeah, I'm just my next question was, what is your strength? Because I know that with me and Rob, I'll pirouette into a room and I'll be like, right, this is the next big thing. Yes. This is the idea. And then I'll leave, and then he'll have to get a spreadsheet out, and that's his superpower spreadsheets. Like I cannot do anything to do with that.
Can't do numbers. My sister does numbers. My sister she's our finance department. She does numbers. I can ask her for words now and again because I've got to a certain age where I'm type. I need a word, ladies. And then I give them a clue as the type of word I'm after, and then they shout me a word. Thank you. And I carry on typing. So I'm good with words. I love words. So hence the blogs and all the website kind of stuff and the social media. Love all that. And the designing, the colour, the making. That's my passion. And thinking up things that other people might want, and thinking up things that I would want, and just hoping that they're the same things that they would want. But yeah, I love all that. So that's my stronger side. Numbers, you can keep them. Give me the words, give me the colours, and
how do you come up with the design ideas? Because obviously these ones are, this one with the swirly pattern inside is very different to the glitter.
Yeah.
How have you got an idea in your head of what it's going to look like, or do you a lot of experimenting? Is it requests?
I very much wanted that. That's the one with the glitter inside. I very much wanted that. That was just because I love anything that sparkles. So we have that in a silver and a gold version, because you can never have enough colours of glitter, can you? If silver's good, then two's better. But the others are really just colours that I take from what I would like to see in my hand. Things that, I've got to dress that colour. Oh gosh, I could really use a stick that colour. I'll make that colour. Pastel colours were very big this year. And we ask people. It's we are as simple as that. We will go on social media and say, "How's about it, guys? Would you like this colour?" if you had these two colours, which one would you like? Do you like green? Do you like... And just, we ask people. It's as simple as that.
And that sounds really simple, but I do think a lot of people fall at that hurdle.
Yeah. It was something that the first time I did it, I thought people are going to think, oh God, how unprofessional is she? She has no idea
what she's doing. What is she
doing? It's only a colour, woman. Pick one.
You're the expert, not me.
But then, when you've rattled off 20 colours and you're looking at the next 5, you think, I've done quite a few greens, done a few pinks, done a few, what type of thing would you like? And people love the fun ones with patterns in as well, with the bubbles in and the lines in. They love those. I think people just want something different, and I'm just the person to give it to them. I really am.
And I think asking people, because, being creative, it takes up so much energy. And to be able to pass that on to your customers, it helps get new ideas. It takes a little bit of pressure off yourself as well.
It does.
And when they see that you've then put their suggestion into production,
exactly.
How amazing.
Yeah. Well, we even let them name them.
Oh, okay.
We do a multicoloured glitter one, and we did a competition where someone could name the stick. That was great fun. We got some hilarious names.
How did you pick a winner?
Some of them couldn't be published?
They're the watershed ones.
Very much so. Personal names. We picked the one we liked. And so the multicoloured one was called Funfetti. And I just loved that. As soon as I saw it, it was just, it had to be Funfetti. But we have such great fun naming all the sticks. They've all got names.
I didn't realise that.
Bella. That's named after one of the puppies. DNA. Because it looks like DNA.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah,
You're a
see
nurse.
it.
Think back. DNA. But in our world, it stands for do not ask. Like, do not ask me shit about anything because I don't want to talk to you. DNA, do not ask. Cosmopolitan, looks like the colour of a cosmo. Starry Sky, that's named after the puppy, Sky. Laser Lemon, we've got all sorts. We've just got, so I love naming them. I have great fun naming them. We've got this yellow one, solid yellow one called Rubber Ducky. It's the same colour as your cable there. It had to be Rubber Ducky.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we have great fun, yeah. But that's a collective thing as well. That's the whole team. We all sit round with a cup of tea and we'll just shoot names around and we shoot ideas around, and everybody's got something to give. More than they thought they had.
Yeah.
And that's the great thing, to actually pull that out of people and to let them contribute in a way that they hadn't. And it's all valued, I really value our guys. But yeah, the dogs are a big part. Everybody knows the dogs. Team Neo Walkies. Everybody knows them. Sometimes I have to put out a general apology for people who get dog hairs in their boxes. Because Buddy's like this big bear, this big black bear, and his hair just gets everywhere. So sometimes people get them in their boxes. So I just put out a general apology.
But do you know what? So the two things that come into mind. One, I wanted to ask you about your learnings on social media, and also what you've just said then about the dog hair. That's very real life.
It is.
And I think people, because there's so much, Instagram versus reality, and the Instagram lifestyle is just not real. It's not real. No. And I think people have got this real hunger just for someone who's just
real. And it's me.
Yeah.
So when I say this was made by Lyndsay, it probably was, and that's me. So when you write an email, it's me that reads it. When you write a snotty one, it's me that reads it, and it's me that replies back to you. It's me, and I will go on social media and talk about my experiences, because I'm very lucky to have this position where I am part of the community that I serve as well. So I'm a disabled entrepreneur in a disabled community with a disability, and it's a really privileged position to be in, because you do get to be invited into corners of people's lives that I think other creators probably wouldn't, and it's a real privileged position, and I love it, and I am real. They'll see me in my pajamas. Through COVID, they know that I made all their sticks in my pajamas, and I'm not ashamed to say that, and there's a dog hair as well. And a biscuit wrapper as well, because I was having a bad day. Yeah.
I was sulking.
I was.
Is there anything that you would like people to say to you or stop saying to you about your disability, or maybe when you're in a wheelchair? Are there any interactions that you have where you're like, I just wish people would stop saying that, or I wish people would stop doing that? Just sometimes you don't know what you're doing until people make you aware of it.
Yeah. Funnily enough, I've got this great ability to make people forget that I'm even disabled, because from this bit up, I look perfectly, as a lot of people with disabilities do, look perfectly fine. There's a blog I write about that, where I made a new friend and had to shy off coffee with her the week after by messaging her saying I've got to go and pick up a new leg. And she said, "Who is this?" She hadn't even noticed I was in a bloody wheelchair, never mind that I only had one leg, She said, "I'm so sorry, I had no idea." Because we were just sat having,
You weren't wearing a T-shirt that says I've only got one leg.
With a big arrow. Lost this one. Yeah, careless. So maybe I kind of wish that people would remember that I am sometimes, and that I do know what they're... Obviously, I don't know what a particular individual is feeling, but I know a hell of a lot about disability. I know a hell of a lot about pain and the loss and the grief of disability, about losing things. And I sometimes think people forget that, or maybe they never even knew it. So if they do come a little bit on the, oh, Lyndsay, you don't possibly understand, and I've got this and I've got that. And I think, I don't, not your particular, but I do know where you're coming from. But sometimes maybe I wish people would remember that I am. But apart from that, no, I have some amazing conversations with my customers. Absolutely amazing. I've met some of them. I've travelled to go and meet some of them. They're incredible people. We're taking one of our lovely ladies to the dinner on Friday with us.
Fantastic.
We're taking her along because she's been a big supporter of ours on Instagram, and so we're taking her along to say thank you and meet the team.
Oh, I love that.
And enjoy the party. So we met some incredible people. Yeah.
Do people tend to buy them for themselves, or do they buy them as gifts? Can you buy it as a gift?
You can buy it as a gift.
Or do you, because there's a part on your website, the measurements.
Yeah, if you don't know their measurement, you can buy a long one and cut it yourself.
Got you.
Hacksaw teeth. They just nibble a bit off the end. Or if you can sneak the measurement of a stick they've already got, you can buy the. But yeah, we do a lot of them for gifts. But no, people just treat themselves. We've got people who've got 20 different colours. They're just collectible. They're very collectible and Moorish, I think.
Because you collect glasses as well, don't you?
Yeah.
So,
yes,
Lyndsay has come on, and so I haven't interviewed. Do you know what? My husband wears glasses. Actually, that's a lie. But I think because your glasses were bigger, the lights reflect. Bigger? Yeah. Rob's.
They're tiny.
Rob's he's only got little rectangle ones.
Can't even get them on.
So I was like, Linda, I like everything about you, but just change.
Take them off. Yeah, just I was wearing a red boiler suit when I came in, and she said, "Put that on." No. When I'm taking pictures in the house, I always get glare in my glasses. So I do love glasses, and I have a ridiculous amount.
I was just going to ask you, do you know how many?
Maybe.
We can beep it out for the husband.
Yeah. I just got a delivery today, half a dozen more pair. I had a sleepless night on Friday night, and I was in a lot of pain, couldn't sleep, and it was just I felt it very soothing. So that's how I manage pain as well. But I don't spend a lot of money on them. They're like £20, so it's not an expensive hobby. But I've got about 40 pairs.
But it's a fun one.
I love them. I've got so many. And you can change just the whole way your face looks just by putting a pair of glasses on. I love them. And I forget that I've got a crazy pair on, and I'll see people looking at me, and then someone will go, "Oh, I love your glasses," and it's the same thing as these. It's just an opening. It's a barrier. Oh my God, they're amazing. Look at them. And I'll have to take them off and go, yeah, they are, aren't they? And I forgot which ones I'm wearing. But I love them.
I saw a lady today, and oh my gosh, her dress was beautiful, and it was so swishy. And she had it was like pinky purpley flowers, and then she had pink shoes, and I've met her like a few times. She probably doesn't know my name, but like I said, "Oh, I love your shoes and your dress, just so swishy." Yeah. And do you know what? I feel good saying that, passing that compliment on.
I do that a lot.
And she smiled, so I think it made her feel okay.
Yeah, completely. I do that a lot. And, that's just something that we can do for each other as ladies and girls. We can just big each other up and make each other feel good. We were at a hotel last weekend. We were on holiday, and there was clearly a wedding going on. There was a lady walked through the lobby in a green silk jumpsuit, and it took my breath away. I actually went, oh, like this. And I had to go up to her and say, you look amazing. I don't even think it was the outfit she was wearing for the wedding. I think it was just like, oh, I'm changing in a bit.
Like, up like this.
Oh, and I said, it's just gorgeous. But I like doing that.
Yes.
I like to big people up.
Yeah, I do. I really, really do. And I don't necessarily give compliments on a regular basis, but I do make sure if I have if I'm at the petrol station or at the cashiers or I'm at a restaurant with a waiter or waitress, I will always speak to them, ask them questions about them and how their day's going. So I've on one occasion received a compliment, and that's a lie. I've received two.
You make it sound like you've only ever had one compliment.
No, by a complete stranger.
Oh, right. I was going to say your husband needs to bring his game up a bit, doesn't he?
So one was, I'd forgot about that until now, actually. One was in Edinburgh when I was a student, and I had this guy run across the road and says, I've just got to say, you just walked across there so elegantly. I don't think I've ever done that before, ever. And I don't think I've done it again.
Wow.
And then the one that I had remembered that I was going to say was, so I don't like my legs. I've got cellulite stretch marks. I've got these horrible blue veins on the back of my knees. I've got a scar on my right leg, and kind of avoided. And I've got fat knees as well. I had to send a pair of jeans back because my knee fat, they were ripped jeans, my knee fat kind of like fell out of them. And so I didn't send them back. I took them back to the lady, and she's like, was everything all right with them? I was like, yeah, they were fine. It's me, it's my knee fat. So I don't wear shorts.
No.
And then I just decided, do you know what? So I think being a nurse and trying to take things, not take things for granted, and seeing people so for me, it was like more towards the end of life. And then really thinking like, what's important? Where should my priorities be? And a blue vein on the back of my leg is not the end of the world. No. I have legs that work, and I should be really, really grateful for these. So now I do wear shorts. Good. And on this day, this is the first day that I dared go to the supermarket. So I'd been to hot pod yoga, so I do wear shorts because it's dark. And I thought, right, I'll go. I need to go to the supermarket. I'll go. And I did. And I was getting some feta, and this lady came up to me. She says, I've just got to say, you just look so cool. And that was the first day that I decided, no, I'm not doing it anymore. And it just made me feel great. It made me feel great. Like, she didn't comment about the shorts or anything like that. Nothing to do with the shorts. But hearing that from someone else, like, she didn't need to say that.
No, but she felt driven to.
Yeah. And being on the receiving end of that was really nice. Yeah. And it made me feel good thinking about all the times I've maybe made people feel like that.
Yeah, and it can turn someone's day round, doesn't it? What did you think of your ankles? Because you never mentioned them.
My ankles are okay. Although there is like one stray hair, like that you forget, and it gets dead long.
Now I get them on my chin.
Oh, it's my ankle. It must be the lighting. I just don't see it all the time until it's like really, really long. Yeah, my ankles are okay, actually.
That's good. I'm happy.
My ankle game is strong.
You didn't mention your ankle.
It's my knee. Maybe it's because I can't see them because my knees are so fat.
Just imagine if you fall over, you're not going to really hurt yourself out here, because I can laugh because I've got one leg and it's got a fat knee, and I've got a bunion on my only big toe. That's how much God doesn't like
Some
me.
people have all the luck.
Don't we? A bunion, fat knee. There you go. Yeah.
So you mentioned pain before, so we've gone from a funny subject to something quite serious. Did you experience pain before your amputation, and do you experience phantom limb pain?
Yeah, I before the surgery, I had osteoarthritis, so my knee was deteriorating to a point where I was hardly able to walk. I was in a lot of pain. It was quite early onset arthritis, so which was why they were doing the knee replacement, which is when they gave me the gift of MRSA. So yeah, I did have pain beforehand, a lot of pain. And I do feel phantom pains. I don't feel the knee pain that I had before the surgery, which I think is quite good, because sometimes your body is so used to the memory of the pain, and your brain is so powerful, and it doesn't allow you to forget it, and it just keeps sending those pain signals down there. But I don't get any knee pain, which is really good. But I do get phantom sensations, if you like. So sometimes my invisible leg, which I call it my invisible leg, it feels like it's there, but it can feel like it's wrapped round the back of my back, or it can feel like it's shoved through the bed and it's on the floor, or it can feel like it's bent, it can feel like it's being electrocuted. I've got a really good imagination. I'm like, you know, the scene where James Bond is getting electrocuted and he's literally going like that. I get shocks that make me jump out of my skin, and they can go on for days and days. So I do get those. But I'm getting older, and other bits of me are dropping off and cracking and breaking to bits, and I've got bits of my back fused and my shoulders knackered, and so there's other bits of me that it's still intact here. You see. Mm-hmm. All up here. It's all up here.
She says that.
Looking after this bit. Keep looking after that. Keep eating your fish. Yeah. But yeah, I do experience.
Just anything like, just thinking about, feeling like it's wrapped around your back. Do you kind of unwrap it in your mind?
I just take meds. I just take drugs. Yeah, I can't fight it. I tried very early on. I tried not to take drugs for it, because they say that once you start taking the drugs for it, then you become dependent on them and you may never get off them. And then I may 10 years later still taking them, because I just can't. And I reduce the dose periodically to see how I'm doing. Mm-hmm. And I have managed to reduce the dose quite significantly, actually, but I don't think I'll ever come off them, and I'm fine with that. And as long as I keep taking them, it just helps to combat the sensations. It's a really strange thing, because my leg has never been wrapped around my back, so I don't even know what it would feel like. But my brain seems to think that it knows. Yeah. This is what I'm doing to you today. It's very powerful. Your brain, very powerful. But yeah, I creak and I feel pain, and I have days where I can't move. Literally, I have a lot of neck pain. Just bits of stuff like that. So I take drugs and I sulk and I sleep.
So why do you carry on? All of this, all of these difficulties that you face, yet you're laughing, smiling, your energy, honestly, the energy, if you could bottle that up at the conference and then take it to your pop-up shop, sprinkle it around the night before, like what is your motivation?
I don't know how to stop. I don't know how. I don't know where the fight ends. And not every day is a fight. That's dramatic. Not every day is a fight. But some days really are.
We can get that on a t-shirt as well.
Put that on a t-shirt. TM. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where the fight ends, really. It doesn't. But what's the other option? I don't want to just sit. If I just sat, and I would just be swallowed up by the misery and the thought of just degeneration, because that was what I couldn't stand when I'd been poorly, but I still had my leg, and all I was doing was looking towards that degeneration and losing it. I couldn't cope with that. I need progress. I need to see moving on, moving up the hill, moving or down the road, or, I just need to keep feeling that. And I don't know what that is. I probably get it from my mum, my dad. I hope I've tried to show that to my kids. They're very similar to me. They keep going. But yeah, I don't know how to stop.
Was there a corner that you turned, or was that the attitude from the amputation?
That was, everything changed for me. I don't think, well, I wouldn't know me. I mean, she wouldn't be here. She wouldn't speak, the Lyndsay that I used to know. No, she wouldn't. So no, everything changed really when I became ill and and there was a period of 3 years between being ill and having my leg amputated, where I convinced myself that this wasn't going to improve, because it wasn't a snap decision, so I had to be confident in my head that I was making the right choice, and I did, and I gave it 3 years. I saw nothing but it getting worse. I thought, well, that's it, that's time. It's not a team player, and everything kind of changed at that point where I was ill, and that was the kind of fight of my life so far. Actually pulling myself round from that, but yeah, I love a challenge. Love a challenge. Kick the other leg and see how long it takes me to get back up.
And speaking of a challenge, Dragon's Den.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Yeah, Dragon's Den. So tell us about that.
Christ, on a bike, yeah. My daughter.
Because that's a risk. You're not just risking, doing things and letting your family know, or on social media. You're going on telly. Oh, in France. I don't know anything about France. No. Sorry, we'll talk about Dragon's Den first, and then we'll end on France.
Dragon's Den. My daughter dared. No, she didn't dare me. She kind of dared me.
Was wine involved?
Years ago. Did you know that they phone people and say, would you like to be on Dragon's Den?
No.
I got a phone call lots of years ago. I'd only been running the business about a year, and I thought it was one of my customers having a joke with me. Hello, I'm a producer from Dragon's Den. Would you like to be on that? I went, yeah, right. Because that's how it works. And it was actually, no, I really am a producer, and we're always scouting.
We've got another one who doesn't believe us.
Yeah. We're always scouting for interesting businesses and interesting people, and you come and knocked on this door then, and I followed the process through a little bit because I felt very flattered. Didn't need any money. I was so new at the business thing. Was still just finding my feet, and then pulled out at the last minute. But it was always there. They wanted me. They wanted me. And anyway, Hannah said, do you not think it's about time that you had a go? Is it not time? Is it your time to have a go? So I did. Terrifying, utterly terrifying. When you consider some of the things that I've done. It was, Deborah Meaden, when those doors open and she's right in front of you and she's just gunning for you. I mean, she's the smiling assassin. She's nice, and then she's not. And it was terrifying. It really was. But pleased I did it. Nothing bad happened from it. I didn't get any finance, but at that point, I wasn't awfully concerned that I didn't massively need the money. It would have been a big jump into another kind of area if I had got the finance. And it's been good. I was never more in touch with the business because you had to go through it with the fine-tooth comb and know your numbers, know everything. You had to know it forwards, backwards, in every language, literally. It was, and I was never more in touch. And I think that gave me a lot of confidence as well. But yeah, it was super scary.
It's amazing. Like I say, that is such a risk. And I think that before we started filming, I was saying that very often people don't even try because they're worried about failure or embarrassment. And I think, to really you didn't just put yourself out there, like you really, really put yourself out there. You put yourselves in people's living rooms.
I did.
It was a huge risk to take, and
I did.
How exhilarating to have done it.
It was, and I would do it again tomorrow, even given everything that we had to go through beforehand, and, afterwards, I would do it again tomorrow. It was great fun. Like I say, it put me really in touch with what the business was doing, which was so overdue. As a business person, it was well overdue to really go into it in that depth. But yeah, I would do it again tomorrow. Even when Deborah Meaden told me to shut up. Shut up, Lyndsay, you do go off on a tangent. You think you go off on a tangent. That's what she said to me. And I was like, really, Deborah? And they didn't put that bit in. They were very kind. I was in there for an hour. They were very kind with the edit. They didn't put anything controversial in. They didn't, not that much controversy happened, but she did tell me to shut up, and she did try and trip me up a couple of times, but I just kept my cool and talked slowly and just kept breathing, and they didn't put any of the really interesting stuff in. So they made me look a little bit, I thought I looked a bit vanilla.
Just sprung to mind then, because I was going to say, did she treat you any differently because you're in a wheelchair?
No. Definitely not.
That was my kind of knee-jerk question. But the second question was, do people speak to your partner over you? Yeah.
She didn't make me take my glasses off. No, people do. They say, can she get out of her chair? And Richard will say, I don't know, ask her. Literally, I'm not with her. Just ask her.
I'm just following her.
And I've had the, does she know a PIN number? And you get the whole shoulder tilt, and it's just like, really, don't patronise me. There was a lady came up to me yesterday who were talking about saying nice things to people. This happens occasionally, not a huge amount. Richard was getting coffee, and I was, that motorbike thing that I fight with it because it's like an out of control shopping trolley.
Honestly, so we met around the corner, and Lyndsay says, "I'll beat you," and you did.
I did.
you could have lapped me.
It goes like the clappers.
I saw you. Yeah.
Teen chops flapping in the.
It's like an extension, isn't it? Onto the chair.
Yeah, it's a firefly, and but getting it on and off. It's honestly, it's like an old shopping trolley, and I wrestle with it. And we were in a shopping centre yesterday, and I was clearly wrestling with it. And this lady came over and said, "Do you need a hand?" And I just said, "No, actually, I'm all right, but thank you for offering. I really appreciate it." Because I think also sometimes people are scared of asking people with disabilities if they want help. When did that happen? I missed that happening. When is it wrong to ask somebody if they just need a hand? And I think that shame on the people who have made people feel bad for offering help, because that's crap. But so I'm always very, but thank you so much. Another time, I'll take you up on it. Do you need help getting your bags out of the car, the shopping bags? No, today I'm okay, but another day, I'm all over it. But yeah, I think it's nice.
Yeah, and you're sorry, go on.
No, I've forgotten what I was going to say. No, I think I finished with Deborah Meaden didn't make me take my glasses off. Yeah. I think.
But you're absolutely right. Yeah, shame on them for making people feel like that. Like, yeah. I can completely understand why people would be hesitant. And I think as well, it's like men not wanting to open doors for women, and
when did that happen?
I remember going the tip. So I have this thing, like if I'm a little bit stressed, I clear the house out. Like I will do a charity shop run. So Rob's like, "Where's my trousers? Where's it?" It's coming area. And on this particular occasion, it was like the garden stuff. So like the car was full of all the garden stuff, and I remember going to the tip and kind of like looking at my car and then looking at the men who were working there and looking at the car, and then they came and helped me. But like, could I lift that myself? Yes, I could, because I put it in there. So I know I can. Yeah. But also, it is nice to have a bit of a hand, and we're going to do it quicker because there's more of us. Yeah. So yeah, shame on those people who have made people feel like that.
I completely agree. Yeah, because it's never a bad thing to offer somebody help.
Yeah.
Because one day they might just be too embarrassed to ask for it themselves.
Yes.
I'm not sure I'd ask. Would I ask? Yeah, I would. I would ask. Yeah, I have asked.
If you are going to ask, make sure you identify the person. So, you in the blue shirt, can you help me? If they're in a crowd, because otherwise no one will help you.
That's true. That's a good point.
Yeah, I had It wasn't a very nice experience, actually. So I was walking the dogs, and Twent's the puppy. She was like a puppy, and Sam's old, and he just kind of like walks next to me. And I saw the park ranger, and I knew he was going to give me a hard time. I knew he was going to say something. He can't resist it. And they were felling trees, but not on this path, not in this walk where we were going. But I just knew he was going to like say something. And I'd only brought one dog lead. I just forgot Sam's. But Sam's fine. He isn't going anywhere. He's 14. And we were in the woods, so he didn't need to be on a lead anyway. He was fine. There was no danger. And this guy was like, put your dog on a lead. And I was like, I'm not going to engage with him because he is a bully. I'm not going to engage. I'm not going to engage. So I carried on walking, and then I put Twents on a lead because I thought, well, we're okay. But do you know what? Yeah, I will put her on a lead just because she's a little bit unpredictable at that time. And so the other one wasn't on a lead. And we're walking. And so my nan had passed away. I just wanted to like reflect. I just wanted a peaceful walk. Didn't want any more either. And he kept on following me. So he's getting speed on. And I'm kind of like trying to, walk away, not going to engage. And he goes, you ignorant bitch. Oh. And I said, excuse me, did you just call me an ignorant bitch while you've got a Staffordshire County Council shirt on and you're working for them you're on the clock? She goes, oh, he's got selective hearing then, have you? And I was like, look, don't speak to me like that again. And I carried on walking. And some people would be like, well, why didn't you just answer him? But he is a bully. Like I've seen him have encounters with other people. Yeah. Right. So I carried on, and he will not stop following me. I'm on my own in the woods. And anyway, I get to this like path, and there's a group of volunteers felling the trees. And by this time, I am distressed, and I am swearing quite a lot. But I'm not swearing at him, insulting him. I am saying in various ways, leave me alone, because I don't want him to see me cry. And he's laughing at the other side of the camera because he's been filming me while he's been chasing me. No. And not one of the men helped. Not one of them said, oh, do you know what, Dave? Leave. I don't know if he's called Dave. Yeah. She's had enough now. Leave her alone. Yeah. So I wrote a complaint, and he then started saying, I just want to make sure everyone's safe, and I want to make sure it's a safe space for everyone. I'm like, look, you are causing this problem. Yeah. Leave me alone. Yeah. So I complained to the council, and they said all that video did was showed evidence that you were acting irrationally and your dog was off a lead. And I kept on saying on the video, like, you're taking this out of context now. You haven't got any of the video before when you were following me. You're making out that I'm doing this. Like, leave me that. Because I was really mad. I was really distressed. I was on my own, and he would not have done that if I was with my husband. And the point being for me saying that is because of the bystander effect, a group won't help you. Yeah. So if you are going to ask for help, identify someone. You in the purple hat, you in the blue top, you in this, that, and the other. Yeah. So
no, I never thought of that. But that's a terrible story.
I was it wasn't one of my proudest moments.
No, but that's intimidating, and it's bullying at its worst.
Yeah, but that was what the video showed. It was me. Yes, of course I'm going to act irrationally because I'm distressed. Yeah. Like, if you were to actually go through those words that I'm saying, yes, there are swear words, but every single one was leave me alone, back off.
Please, just leave.
So, yeah.
He'll get what is coming.
Well, hopefully. With maybe glitter.
With a touch of karma in 18 months, if you're watching this.
Well, it's been a year now.
Dave.
6 months to go.
Have you chosen the colour yet?
So to end on France. Because I didn't know about France. Tell me about that.
It wasn't an impulsive decision. We used to go on holiday when I was from the age of about 13, 14, 15, 16 and onwards and upwards to France. And I used to live it. I've always felt I've been a bit of a frustrated sort of francophile. Love the language, love the food, love the culture and everything about it. So Richard and I decided we'd move to France, and we bought a house out there with a a house, a holiday house that needed a lot of work doing to it. So we would do this house up and rent it out as a holiday house, a gîte. And we did that, and we still own it actually. We're just in the process of selling it now. But we lived there for 4 years.
Lovely.
And it was amazing. And we adopted 2 French dogs, learned a lot of French to speak to those French dogs. But we came back with two French dogs that we never went with. But we came back.
And are they bilingual now?
3 years ago, they are fully bilingual.
Yeah.
And also the English dogs are bilingual also. So we have a huge, big Newfoundland who was born in Yorkshire that is now French. He speaks French as well.
Do your French accent? No, your Yorkshire accent, speaking French?
Buddy, bonjour. That's how Buddy talks. Everybody knows Buddy. Buddy's a big thing on Instagram. Sometimes when we go on holiday, I leave Buddy in charge of messages, and people send him messages. Hi, bud. Yeah, he's ace. But France was exciting. I knew that this was a time when I was an upright walking amputee, so I was quite active. It was before I had back trouble, before other bits fell off, and I was super active, and I was slimmer, and I was blonder and younger and doing all that. And I kind of always knew that I'd have a window to live this dream. And, in true fashion, we sort of went, well, stuff it, we just got to do it. And sure enough, I always felt that I'd have about 5 good years of walking and working and wherever we've gone, we've worked. I got robbed a little bit because it was about 3 going on 4 and I needed back surgery, but 3 solid years, it was good. We did a lot of work, we did a lot of things, sightseeing, I learned to ski, and it was just great. But then in the end it got the better of me because I couldn't do the work any longer and Richard had to do everything, and it became more of a chore than a pleasure. So that was when we came back here, and that was when we started to focus 100% on the business. But France was amazing. I mean, it was lovely, and I spoke reasonably good French for a while, but I haven't said a word since I came back in 3 years apart from bonjour just now. And croissant occasionally.
I love that. I just absolutely love your attitude to life and just kind of like doing these things.
Yeah.
Working out later.
Yeah.
I'll just get it done.
I didn't want to be the person that had always wanted to do that, but then the opportunity had run out. I saw my dad kind of go through that as a person losing his sight because of a macular degeneration. He'd always wanted to travel around Spain and France with a motorhome, and by the time he got the motorhome, he was losing his sight. And then by the time he'd lost his sight, they really hadn't done much at all. So, and I just thought, God, that I don't want to be that. So while I know that I've got some good years left in me, let us go and do that little adventure. And we did, and I'm so glad we did. And now we're just living another adventure here, and it's we'll be going on to the next one. And
is there anything on your bucket list?
I want to go to Venice, but I don't think Venice is very me friendly. I've never been. I don't think
that's the canals, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think. Maybe if
you would find a way.
I'd find a way. I'm imagining me on a paddleboard, just going down the down the canals on my own. Richard in a gondola behind me. He's probably
singing,
throwing stuff at me with his trumpet. Yeah, whistling the national anthem. We could do that. Yeah. What else do I want to do?
Do you know what? Me and Rob went to Venice and Verona, and I can't remember how long. We spent more time in Venice and less time in Verona, but we wish we'd done it different. We wish we'd spent more time in Verona. But we did enjoy Venice.
Yeah, maybe I need to go to Verona then. I don't know. No, not at the minute. There's nothing else on my bucket list, but I'll think of something.
Well, we're accountability sisters now because we're both doing books.
We surely are. We're going to write a book. That is now on my list.
I'll just give you a job. Just give you homework.
Things I've forgotten. Yeah. And a bit more of this, a bit more podcasty, sort of talking type stuff, because I think it's important. I've learned loads about you tonight doing this. And, when we spoke at NADEX and we just kind of scratched the surface of each other. But I've learned so much about you that I probably wouldn't have had I read the same transcript. Do you know what I mean? This is so important.
Yeah.
And just that sort of looking into someone's face, and it's seeing it light up when you smile, and seeing it light up when you talk about your fat knees. And I wouldn't have got that from a transcript, wouldn't I?
No, you wouldn't. It's been a while since I told that story because, I'm working on them. I am working on them. But how do you focus on that area? I don't know.
You can't. Everything just goes to my knees. Everything I eat, I just say straight to my knees and my bunion.
Is there any questions that you think I should have asked?
I don't think so. I think we've covered my life.
Oh, fantastic. Well, thank you very much. And just remind us again, what date is your pop-up store?
Pop-up store at the Metro Centre is the 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th of November.
Absolutely fantastic.
And hopefully we'll have some good news from the awards on Friday.
Yes. Absolutely. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it.
A complete pleasure. Can't thank you enough.